So let's look at extending the tail end, which means the spine. So here are the parts needed to make the spine. We're going to go into the workshop shortly to put these together, but that's my interlocking design, and that will then go into there, and that will then extend hopefully into, let's knock this piece out here, into there, and then in turn into the back of former number 5. So you'll end up with hopefully that configuration. Okay, and that's what we're going to do now. So come with me to the workshop. So this is the ply part of the F5. Come on. Just going to take these parts out here, do that all the way around. Then I shall mark the center part of that there and carefully take that out so that that spine can go in. Now, how does the spine go together? Well, let's lower the camera a little bit and see if we can enlighten ourselves. Now, what I failed to do was to grab some glue, which I just have, and some zap. Okay, so like so many other people who think they can make models, you need to have a square. These are pretty good, they're not expensive, and I get a lot of use out of these, and they are fantastic for making things 90 degrees. Now these are interlocking, and they go together like that, and that's the way I designed it, so that they would not move this way or any other way. But first we have to make sure that they are 90 degrees. Okay, so that's what we got there. Now, rather than parting these and then gluing them in, the best way to do it, I always find, is put this way like this so you can see what I'm doing, is do it the same way as you would if you're putting ribs on a wing, and that is to put them in place and basically just draw a bead of CA whilst in situ, and I always find that's probably the best way of doing things, and then just let that go off. And if you have a second one of these, you can do that. Okay, and then you just got to make sure that the ends are meeting properly, and we'll just let that go off. So what you end up with is this. There's your spine, there's F5, that's all ready to go. So I now have to offer that up to the rest of the model, do some marking out, see if I need to make any cuts anywhere, make sure everything's spaced out properly. And once I've got that done, I have to make sure that that goes in absolutely vertically, or if you like, horizontally, though I'll be doing it in a vertical position in relation to F4. This is F5. So then that we have a straight line and everything's going to be square on. It has to be square on, because if it's not, then the horizontal stabilizer is going to be horribly out, and it's going to fly in a circle or fly in loops or something. So this is why when you're making a cylindrical model, that everything's got to be absolutely square on, spot on, first time, first go. Once you glued it in, you know, unless you got some sort of debonder, you're pretty much committed. So there you go. That's what it's all about. So let's have a look at how that spine looks when it's attached to the model. So I'm just going to tip down the camera now so you can get a bit of a look at this. Okay, so what do we have? Well, there is F4 in its correct position. This part you just see, that's F5. So that spine is now connected via a box section there, which is a very, very closely fitting box section. I didn't want to have to make the whole thing in one piece because it just becomes too much and a bit too exacting. So this part's already glued in, so all I have to do is make sure that this is completely vertical, and then in turn this is completely vertical, and also the tail section completely vertical. Now, tail section completely horizontal. So let me just explain. You see, I have these little levels here, and so you can see that that tail is now going to be level, and with this level here you can see the spine's level there and the spine is level there. So let me just put you over here. Okay, tip you back up. So all I've got to do now is glue them in place, which I just have, let that go off. Okay, so now I've got it absolutely horizontal. I'm next going to make sure that the yaw part of it is straight as well. And to do that, I'm going to put the model on its nose, get that level, get the spirit levels on them, and make sure that that is absolutely upright. Once I'm sure of that, I can then, I haven't got anything with me, I can then put a bottom spine in, maybe the side spines, the riggers, okay, because I can't do the whole thing, and I'll show you why. Because I have to get the horizontal stabilizer in, but don't forget I've got the pulse jet to go on top there, so that goes more or less that position there. Okay, so things become just as complicated as they were before. Let me just bring it back there so you get a better shot of that. So in other words, I'll take that off for a second, put that in place just temporarily. See that? That's got to go like that. Okay, so I've got to make sure that everything's in place, but I can't necessarily take the rigger all the way through. Do you understand? Because that's got to sit there and that's got to sit there, so that top one I can't put in. Then once I've got those pieces in place, sorry, I'll just drop in the glue there, I don't want it to go all over the table. I can then really work out what I really want to do with the elevator servo and the rudder servo, which will probably go somewhere here. I'll make a mount for them here, and you've got less travel, which usually makes for a better control and a stronger control and a more direct control. Whereas if you've got a snake going all the way down, eventually you're losing something along the travel. Okay, because snakes can bend and all sorts of things. Okay, so that's where we are with that. So I'm going to end the video here, and then when I've got something else to show you, I will make another video, come online, and we'll see where we are. And that's how I'm doing it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time. Cheerio. Thank you.